The public really doesn't know what magic is. They have an abstract idea, if they have any idea at all.
What is the public's perception of magic? That's a really difficult one to pin down.
Lay people think that magic is for kids.
You know, unless they've had a first-person experience with magic, they probably just think of it as a stereotype.
I think from inside of magic, we don't really have a clear view of it.
It bothers me a great deal that magicians are perceived as being talentless, classless, children's entertainers, but it's our own fault because a lot of it is what we are.
I think that there's been almost a paradigm shift in the way that laymen perceive magicians now. Clown nose, big shoes, rabbit in the hat, that's all changed now. Now it's t-shirts, jeans, and laymen now say to me, you know, when you go to a show, you know, oh, can you walk across the pool? Can you float like Blaine?
I remember that the first questions I was always asked is, okay, what do you do? And I want to be a magician. And the second question was, and what are you going to make for a living? In a way, I think that struggle is probably true for all the arts. Like, every artist is crazy. Like, what do you do? I'm a painter. What do you do? I'm a singer. I think it will evoke similar questions. Oh, and what do you do for a living? But maybe with magic it's a little stronger, because magic is associated to the magic kit. You buy as a kid, you have an obsession with for a few months, and then you move on to baseball or something sexier.
The notion of magic is used on a daily basis in the terms of the description of anything intended to produce wonder. So they say that our new breakfast cereal is magic, and the new telephone app is magic, and our online shopping experience is just like magic. And so, you know, we see that word used in advertising and in marketing on a regular basis. And from that aspect, it's being sold as or treated as a very positive thing, that everybody wants something to be magical, that you have a benefit far in excess of whatever sort of effort or inputs are required.
People don't know how much they love magic. The majority of people have never had a magician perform for them. So most people have never seen a close-up magician. Most people have never seen a platform magician. They have seen David Copperfield, David Blaine, Chris Angel, things like that. If they have a perception of magic, it's a peripheral one, because they've only seen magic out of the corner of their eye, if that makes any sense. It's never been directly in front of them and in their face. My experience has been that whenever they have a close-up magician work for them, they love it.
The first time they see a real professional who's very, very good at close-up magic, I think it opens their eyes and they see that, wow, this isn't something that's just for kids. But I think from just their general exposure to magic, they think it's, oh, well, where's Johnny? Here, I want Johnny to come out and see this. And they're not even interested at all at first.
I think the real problem is that most magic that the public sees is not great. It's mediocre, and because the public doesn't see a lot of magic, they have nothing to compare it to. And this really, to me, is the problem. And so the answer is not that all magicians have to become great magicians, although that would be wonderful, but the answer is to have the public see a lot more magic of all kinds, of all levels. I mean, it would be great if we could have the public seeing lots of magic and it was all super high quality, but that's not practical. If somebody sees 10 magicians in a year rather than one magician every 4 years, even if those magicians aren't the greatest magicians, they would begin to understand some things about the art that they don't get by seeing one magician every 4 years. And I think that would raise the public's perception of magic a lot, even if not all the magicians were great.
How many times have we seen magicians, oh my gosh, and their poor wives who get on stage and they forced her into some ill-fitting spandex suit, and he's in some ill-fitting spandex suit, and he's trying to move around stage, and he's never taken a dance lesson in his life, and he's trying to speak coherently, and he can't put 3 sentences together. And part of that stems from the fact that magicians aren't honest with each other, because we're this brotherhood and we don't want anyone's feelings to get hurt. So very few people say, you know, you look like an idiot on stage and you should stop doing that.
When people see a really fine performer and someone who really delivers what is a magic effect or a magic show, I think they really enjoy it, you know. It's the problem of so many that don't do that job and don't put the work in that give us a bad name, you know, with the lay people. I mean, look what's happening on video with the internet. It's a great vehicle, but we're getting people who think the only way they can become well known in our industry is to buy a trick, do it, and then show how clever they are by showing you how they do it. And I don't agree with that at all.
Magic, of course, is meant to be performed live. It is something that needs to be seen. If it's close-up magic by a magician a few feet away from you, and if it's stage magic, it needs to be seen live in the theater. Magic is not designed to be seen on television. The video eye, the eye of the camera, flattens magic. It removes its vitality, it kills its misdirection, and it deadens it.
I think it's important to preserve magic as a live first-person experience art form and to not constantly reduce it to 2D or 3D recorded digital or film images, because I think we lose something when we lose the actual first-person connection to it. To me, it's very much like food. As much as we might enjoy watching one of these food channel food preps, as fantastic as the food may look or hear the descriptions of others, it's not the same as being there and tasting it yourself.
On a Friday night in Madrid, I went through the little local paper where they have events, what's going on. And on a Friday night in Madrid, there were 27 places you could go see a magician. Now, I have no doubt that a lot of those magicians are not great. But just the idea that magic is that available in their culture at this moment, you know, is, I think, hand in hand, part of the reason why magic right now is really popular and really kind of esteemed in Spain.
In Spain, the people perceive the magic like a card magic because it's Juan Tamarit from a lot of years ago doing magic in the TV. But also the magic for the people in general is like the hats and the rabbits, and the magic is for children, blah, 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 blah. In Spain, it's 2 different concepts of magic. This one and the card magic.
Magic is a strong enough art to support a weak performer. That someone who can walk into a magic shop and pick up a novelty trick, and when they perform it for their friend may not perceive that person to be a magician of great magical powers, but they're really fooled and they're really entertained, and they have a sense of wonder. And that had nothing to do with the person. That's no more magical than me opening a can of soda pop and pouring it in a glass and handing it to you and say, you are an unbelievable food chemist. How in the world did you create this sweet, wonderful, bubbly thing? It's like, I just bought the can and opened it. And it's possible to have really wonderful magic that's just a consumer good like that. And that's not bad, it just is, but I think that's different from something that comes from a place of invention and someone thinking of the story and gaining the tool set necessary to then express that.
In general, I think there is a sense among, you know, actors and ballet dancers and filmmakers that magicians can buy an act. And, you know, they're not wrong. Exactly. In all the arts, there are people who look down on magic because of that thing of being able to buy an act. But in almost every case, I've found that when you sit and you talk to somebody, an individual from another art, about what you do and what you think about and how you work at it, they change immediately to understanding, you know, and their thought is always, oh, well, you're different than the other magicians. And I have to say, well, I'm not really different. I'm just the first one that you've had this conversation with. And if you would have the same conversation with other magicians, you would find that my attitude and approach is more common than store-bought magic attitude and approach. I did one time have a comedian backstage say, you know, you're a really good writer and you're a funny guy, and you would do great if you would just drop that magic crap. And he couldn't, I tried to explain it, but he couldn't understand that the magic crap was the part of it that was interesting to me.
It looks like the little boy is a hobby that needs to pass at some point, and if it didn't, there's something wrong with you. We need to fight it somehow by making people appreciate magic on a greater level. We use magic as a way to express emotions and feelings and ideas. So we have a lot of work to do.
If you don't treat what you do with respect, if you don't take it seriously, then you can't expect other people to take it seriously. You know, in the field of acting, there are people that denigrate actors. Oh, it's just, you know, making faces and stuff. But there are great actors, and we know these great actors work and work really hard. But I don't think many lay people, normal people, realize that magicians also work really, really hard. The goal of the magician is to redefine what magic means to your audience. Because if you can redefine it, you're real. Everybody else is the imitator. And it's easy to do it. It's not hard. All you have to do is make them feel more than everyone else did.